Invasion of the Body Snatchers. How do they film the translucent dookies? What really was that?
You're so right.
And then I was like, oh, okay, cool, Robert Duvall. And the whole movie starts and it ended, and I was like, wait, where the hell was Robert Duvall throughout the whole movie?
So that was a challenge. That way it looked so good.
They were racing, yes. I kept looking at it. I couldn't figure out what the I was looking at.
I jumped way.
Are you a body snatcher? Welcome to the list. This is a show where we pluck out a name out of our all-time watch list, watch it, and review it for your viewing pleasure. The movie we're scratching off the list today is the 1978 remake, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. When strange seeds drift to Earth from space, mysterious pods begin to grow and invade San Francisco, replicating the city's residents one body at a time. Was this a blind watch for you too?
Yes, except for the end.
Oh, okay. The only thing I knew about this movie was the title. Like, Invasion of the Body Snatchers was the one thing that I knew, but I didn't know who was in it. I don't know any of that. And then once I figured out who was in it, I said, okay, we got to do this for the list. We got young-ass Donald Sutherland, Brooke Adams, Jeff Goldblum, Veronica Cartwright, Leonard Nimoy. That's a pretty nice cast. So I was like, all right, let's watch it. Without me knowing that this is actually a remake from a film that was made in 1956.
Donnie Sutherland looks really young. And then I saw Jeff and I was like, oh, damn, he looks like a child. And then I thought, that dude looks like Spock.
Yeah.
Almost towards the end, I was like, holy shit, that's Nimoy.
It took you that long?
Yes.
Come on.
And I'm very ashamed to accept
shame
that
on
fact.
you.
I try not to look at IMDb.
Yeah, because it's more fun when you go in blind.
Yep.
And even the poster is freaking awesome.
Oh, pod looks f***ed up.
It's because it's coming from space, all the colors. Yeah, that one's sick. So, like I said, this is a remake, and it was considered by some critics to be one of the best remakes in film history, mainly because it outdid the remake.
That good? I mean, we would have to watch the OG one to
fully compare. Yeah.
But I mean, this movie is amazing.
Yeah, the original and this one are both based off of the 1955 novel Body Snatchers by Jack Finney. So I really, really love the theme. That was cool to me because it's aliens, right? But it's like super complex, and it's like it's not just goofy green blah, 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 aliens. It's like
yeah,
plant aliens, almost like you would compare it now to like a Last of Us type of thing, where it's like a fungus, and then they draw for like real life things that could potentially be the creation of the aliens, of the bad guys, of whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, that was interesting. I thought it was interesting, and my mind immediately went with The Last of Us. When you get to like the how it really happens, how the change is made.
Yeah.
I was really uncomfortable because that just like messed with my mind so much that I was like kind of in a little bit of despair the whole movie.
I didn't know where it was going to go. And I really, really liked and enjoyed where it went, because there's this helplessness throughout the movie because they start to look for help, and everybody that they go to get help from is part of the problem. So they're like stuck. You can't go to the police. You can't go to your friends. You don't know who to trust. And then there's a few changes within the movie. I will feel like the beginning of the third act, the whole movie goes from like this horror of this lady realizing that her boyfriend is not the same, and then the city starts to change. And then when it's an all out, okay, we get it now, we understand what the hell is going on, it kind of feels like a zombie movie towards the end.
A little bit more modern take of the zombie movie, because in the old ones, it was very slow.
Yeah.
And in this one, in by the third act, everybody's running, everybody's hectic, everything's hectic. You have to watch your back with everything, with everybody. It was a shit show in the best way possible. Since I knew the ending, and that's because my mom spoiled it for me.
Okay.
Do you remember the new Body Snatchers movie, the one with Daniel Craig and Nicole Kidman?
No.
So we were watching that one, and the ending, I remember being a little bit more subtle. And my mom was like, oh, in the original, it ended so-and-so. And I was like, what the f***, Mom? I haven't watched it. Oh, I'm sorry. Pretend I didn't say a thing. And I was like, oh, God damn it, Mom.
Super nonchalant.
Yeah. But since I knew how it ended, I was even more enthralled with this movie because I wanted to know how it got there. And it did not disappoint.
Yeah, because you just can't figure it out, like how they're going to get out of it, right?
Yes.
From the beginning, I had questions like film wise, like what the hell were those things in the beginning? How do they film the translucent dookies? What really was that?
You're so right.
What is that? like translucent intestines and shit, like, or the squiggly lines that I get in my eye every day. I'm like trying to focus and I see those things in my eye, but I was trying to think practically what actually is what they filmed. I couldn't figure it out.
I just rode with it because it was just the first few minutes of the movie were like hallucinating.
Speaking of hallucinating, I thought I was tripping because I could have swore I saw Robert Duvall in the beginning. He's the priest on the swing.
It was Robert Duvall?
It was Robert Duvall.
Holy shit.
But then he plays no part in the movie at all. He just kind of looks like a creep. He's in a swing with a bunch of kids and he's laying back and he's like looking at them. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool, Robert Duvall. And the whole movie starts and it ended and I was like, wait, where the hell was Robert Duvall throughout the whole movie?
He was looking like a creepy priest.
Yeah.
That's where he was.
Apparently him and Philip Kaufman, the director, actually worked on the Great Northfield, Minnesota raid in 1972. And Duvall just happened to be in San Francisco at the time of the filming, so he just shot that one scene for free.
Like a pro bono thing?
Yeah, por su compilla.
Aww.
But you're Robert Duvall, man. Like, you're not whoever, you know? Shout outs to him. That was tight. Speaking of dookies, they end up finding rat turds in the restaurant, which is foul.
And it looked like such a bougie restaurant. Oh, there's shit in your soup.
But just that subtle scene also kind of lets you know what type of person Sutherland is and he's playing, right?
Yeah, it was a very interesting thing that he did work for the Department of Health.
How thorough and anal he was about his job, right? Like spotting a rat turd floating in a thing of soup, and it's like his day to day, all that was shown very nicely in the very beginning of the movie. He goes back to the car and they broke away his windshield. He's just like, they threw a bottle at my thing. Very expensive wine. Like he's very unfazed about it.
Yeah, and I really like that he takes his role as an asshole for these people like such stride. From being somebody that kind of is hated at the beginning of the movie, you're rooting for him like really quick.
Well, because his whole demeanor changes once he gets around with the mija, with the girl, you know, Brooke Adams, who plays Elizabeth Driscoll. Like that eye thing that he asks her to do to prove that she's not crazy. And she starts just going crazy with the eyes. I found that to be like so random, but it adds so much charm and levity to the movie. I feel like stuff like that are vital in movies and we don't get that anymore.
Yeah, and without making it like something really cheesy. It
was a little tough for me to figure out his intentions. Is he just a friend? Is he trying to get it? Is he trying to hit it? Like it took me a little bit because he would be vague, right?
Yeah, he's not overt with it.
No. And he's like, kinda, but and then even towards the end of the movie, he's all like, I love you. I'm like, bro, you just barely kissed her 20 minutes ago. Like, relax. But I guess it's like he loved her since the beginning, but he didn't show that really.
I was like, oh, well, she has a boyfriend and everything.
Right.
But he still has feelings for her.
You remember the guy that runs up to the car and is asking for help?
Oh, Simon, the dead guy?
Yeah, he's the star of the 1956 adaptation of the movie, Kevin McCarthy.
Oh, way.
Yeah, so that's a kind of cool shout out.
That's hilarious.
Without a doubt, my favorite part of the movie and my MVP is Jeff Goldblum. I loved him, right? Since the second you see him, right? He plays Jack Belichick. He's just neurotic and he's like super hyper Goldblum-y, right? The most Goldblum way only Goldblum can, right? The first thing he's like criticizing Nimoy's character about like how trashy or how shitty this book is or whatever. And then this random lady comes across and starts defending him, and he gets into it with the lady. And he goes,
Kibner's ideas are pure garbage.
How can you say that about a man like Kibner?
I'm not saying it about a man like Kibner. I'm saying it about Kibner. He dashes one of these things off every 6 months. It takes me 6 months to write one line sometimes.
Why?
Because I pick each word individually, that's why.
What's so hard about that?
I wasn't even talking to you, was I?
He's like, that got me, just his delivery, the way he says it got me so it got me. It got me. I had to rewind it. I watched it 3 times. It might not even be that funny, but the way he delivers, like after arguing with her for a full like 30 seconds, he goes like, I wasn't even talking to you. It was the most polite you ever in a movie I've ever seen. I loved him already from right there.
I wasn't even talking to you, was I?
We also meet Nimoy in that same party, and from the beginning, he felt kind of creepy to me.
Yeah, because he's dismissing everything.
Yeah, but the way he was like holding the lady and like forcing her to like chill out, I don't know if that was meant to be on purpose, but he just came off really weird, you know. And you know, I like to dissect, and I thought about it. Maybe he's behind it all, but the way he just grabbed it and forced it on her, I was like, okay, I don't know if that was on purpose, like it was meant to come off that way, but it came off very like creepy.
Vulcans, man.
Yeah, it's perfect that he eventually does play an emotionless alien, because who else is the better emotionless alien that we've ever had in the history of ever?
Every time he was on screen and he was like dismissing everything that was happening, it was like green-blooded Vulcans. Wait, no,
Of course you would say that. It was also disturbing how many layers of clothing he was wearing on. He had like 4 or 5 layers of clothing on, man. Again,
and the leather things he had in his hands, did you catch those?
Yeah, that was something that Nimoy felt the need to wear to establish some sort of disconnect between the audience and the people, and also to be like noticeable as well, because no one else would be wearing that.
That was so strange.
So they start to find doubles of people, or what people believe to be doubles, and the police get involved and no one believes them. And the ones that could believe them are potentially doubles. So there's a real heavy feeling of impotence and helplessness. And I think that's really what the movie wanted to evoke.
And it did it with flying colors too.
A little more than halfway through the movie, we get to see basically how the aliens are births. And it's like this nasty flower with like a hairy rocaleta birthing outside of it. It looked nasty.
Oh, shit. Just ruined that for me for the rest of my life.
Rocaletas are the shit. I haven't had one in a long time.
Me neither, but you just f***ed it all up, man.
Oh, they're all hairy and they're all gross, and it's pretty foul. And the way that they're popping out, like the puppets are foul. Like it's way better than any CGI I could picture today.
That's why practical effects never lose their effectiveness. Because you can make them as creepy, slimy, and disgusting as you want, and you're gonna buy it.
I mean, this movie came out in 1976, and I feel like it still holds up today.
Oh, completely.
I mean, Sutherland smashes his own head in, right? And it was gnarly.
Oh my God.
It could have been just a damn watermelon dressed up as Donald Sutherland, but no, it actually looked like him vaguely, you know, like what they were trying to portray with the damn puppet was on point, was spot on.
It was also interesting that he was going to smash Homegirl's double's face in.
Yeah, and he's like, no, that's my baby, I can't.
Yeah, and he had no problem bashing his own skull in.
He did think about it.
He did, but at the last point he did it. But also, he's kind of killing himself, and it looked very foul.
This is where it kind of turns into a zombie movie, because once he does that, all the other invaders, I think they called them pod people, they kind of like turn out to him and like start screaming and start chasing them down. That's when it kind of feels like a zombie movie.
Yeah, it does.
Donald Sutherland and Brooke Adams, when they're in the taxi, were actually afraid because the actor who was playing the taxi driver couldn't see at night and he wasn't wearing his glasses. So
holy shit.
So they were actually a little scared.
So their reaction was genuine?
Yeah. I got a note because they hop out of the car, right? When then the cop is like looking for them and they're running. They're actually like hauling ass.
Yeah, they're booking it. Yeah.
Like they're scared. And come to find out, actually Brooke Adams challenged Donald Sutherland to a foot race for that scene.
So that was a challenge? That way it looked so good?
They were racing. Yes. To the point where when Philip Kaufman yelled cut, they just kept going. And Adams won while she was in a dress and on high heels.
Oh my God. That's a trooper way.
I thought, damn, she's hauling ass. Like, and she's beating them too, because they're holding hands. Usually like, oh, you trot away. No, these were like in full ass sprints. I was impressed. Shout outs.
Looking at the scene right now, looks amazing.
She's hauling ass. The one thing that I was kind of weird about is how they kiss. I don't know. It just felt like, oh, well, I don't have a boyfriend now, so now I'm going to kiss this guy. It felt a little a little wonky, I guess.
But I kind of attribute it to, hey, if we're going to die, at least we're going to kiss.
It was just even the way that they did it. It was like very slow, no puckering. It's just kind of like they just like smeared each other's lips together. It was weird.
Oh, wow.
It was almost as weird as the doggy wearing the human face.
Dude,
I kept looking at it. I couldn't figure out what the I was looking at.
I jumped way.
Is that CGI? Is that an actual dog wearing an actual human face mask? What the hell is going on here?
I cannot put my finger on it, but I would never want to. For me, that was the only scare of the movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hola, verga."
Yeah. But yeah, I had no idea how it was going to end. I really liked the effect of her like drying up, right?
Oh my God, that was, it was creepy. That was so creepy.
But also like how the hell, because her face gets sucked in and it doesn't look like a mannequin or anything. It looks like it's her.
Like they're pulling their skin to the bottom.
Yeah, like she gets sucked in. I don't know. It was weird, but it looked really cool. So everything is like falling apart around them. She dies. Who's the main character? That's another question too. Sutherland?
Yeah, Sutherland.
Because it felt like it was Brooke Adams.
I'm going to dare to say that both of them are the main characters, but by the end, Donald was the main focus.
Yeah, because like what I said, she eventually gets dried up and turns into a pod person.
And we get some titties.
Naked. She ran around naked.
That was hilarious. She was running around naked and nobody's batting an eye because they're pod people.
Yeah, and nobody else is naked, so I was a little sus. She couldn't grab some clothes. I'm not complaining. It was just like, really? We had to have her naked. I got you. I see what y'all doing movies.
Yes.
And it ends with a meme. I had seen that meme before 1,000 times, and I never knew what it was from. But I've seen that ending scene a million times used in different videos, obviously without the sound. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, it's the thing where he does a thing.
This is where it's from.
Exactly. I like that because when you go in blind, you don't know what you're expecting. You just watch something, you get some surprises. And that's a reveal that, Sutherland's been doubled as well. And the masseuse lady who was massaging the big fat guy is the only survivor.
Who was Goldblum's wife.
Goldblum's wife massaging the big fat in the, in the massage parlor.
That looked kind of foul too.
Yeah, that was some of the worst thing too.
Because I never watched the scene. Like literally my mom just told me, oh, because Sutherland is the bad guy. I was like, what the And I thought Elizabeth was the one he was outing, but no, it was the masseuse. And it was 10 times worse.
Right, because you didn't expect her to survive. And then her cover is blown. So just that little scene shows a lot. And then it ends. And I really, really like that there's no happy ending.
Oh, no, yeah.
We die.
This is sad, yeah.
We lose.
We lose.
Naked lady, dog face man, everybody die. We die.
Dog face man.
Which is different from the book because in the book, the pod people lose the war and they just dip and they leave all the doubles behind to die.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I like this ending better.
Yeah, because very rarely does the bad guy win in movies. All the feeling of dread and the feeling of helplessness that you feel throughout the whole movie is not remedied at all. You're just like, and we lose. You're like,
oh yeah, and in such a crushing way.
So I don't even know this was considered like an all-time horror sci-fi in the genre. Like a lot of other movies borrow from it. I think we do like the theme. I think it's worth checking out today if you've never seen it just because of the theme alone. I know that the ones after this aren't particularly great. And I've heard that the original is not as good as this one. So if you've seen any of the other Body Snatchers, let us know down in the comments. But speaking of Leonard Nimoy, we actually saw the first Star Trek motion picture movie and we heavily disagreed. It's probably might have been the only time we disagreed in a movie. And I'm going to leave you that battle right over here. Make sure you head on over there and watch that. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to always and forever, you do. A la verga. Are you a Body Snatcher?